to the first lesson in our cultural geography unit. This unit will be pretty short. We're just going to be on this unit for 1 week. And there are 4 different activities that you'll be working on, or 4 different folders that you'll be working through. For this unit, for cultural geography, we will not take a final test. Instead, you're going to be doing a final assignment. So we'll go back to tests or quizzes in our next unit, which is political geography. So for this lesson, this cultural diffusion lesson, you'll see this video obviously posted right here, but you're going to have 2 different activities to do. One is going to be Ed Puzzle. The video that goes along with the Ed Puzzle is pretty long, so make sure you have time for that. That's about 27 minutes. And then the discussion post is goes along with that as well. So before we get into this, I do want to just kind of define culture. So oftentimes if we were in the classroom, I would ask you, what do you think about when you think about the word culture? How would you define it? And then we would take some time to define culture as a group of belief systems, norms, and values, and material traits practiced by a group of people. And so people can be defined as a culture in 1 or 2 ways. They can see themselves as a cultural group, or others can label a certain group of people as a culture. But oftentimes a culture shares similar types of practices, values, and material traits, meaning like things you physically use. Now, you are all part of multiple cultures at the same time. You might be part of a cultural group related to your family, but you're also part of cultural groups related to just being a teenager. So cultural groups are overlapping. You might be part of a sports team, for example, and that can even kind of bring in that sense of culture. So then when we talk about cultural traits, and we're going to be talking a lot about cultural diffusion, we're talking about a single element of normal practice in a culture. So a cultural trait is just like one aspect. For example, wearing a kippah in Jewish culture, which is the head covering, that is an example of cultural trait, but also just like a norm, like not eating beef in Hindu culture, the sacred, because cows are held sacred, is also an example of a cultural trait. And then even just something simple as like giving a high five to people, that is a cultural trait. The video that you're going to be watching for the Ed Puzzle is going to talk a lot about cultural hearth and cultural diffusion. And so that is going to be the majority of the content that you're going to be getting for this unit. But the hearth is an origin, and then diffusion is going to be the spread of a cultural trait. So in geography, we're interested in how do cultural traits spread throughout populations. So I'm not going to talk too much more about that, but for this unit, or for this folder, you're going to be watching this cultural diffusion video. You'll notice that it's going to actually tell you, there's quite a few little notes in this video, and those notes are just reminding you to add things to your notebook. So you should be taking notes during this Ed Puzzle. And then there are some multiple choice questions that will be scored and graded. They hopefully aren't going to be too difficult. They should make sense, but it's a longer video where I'm giving you the content. And then going back there, you're going to be opening up, after you've listened to the content and you understand the content and taken notes on it, you are going to be completing this discussion post about the diffusion of, you're going to apply the ideas of cultural diffusion to the coronavirus, and you're going to try to define how the coronavirus has spread in different ways. And the 3 different types of diffusion you're going to use are contagious, relocation, hierarchical, which will be explained in the Ed Puzzle video. Once again, always reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will help you. And also, once again, always have office hours.